Good morning, everybody, and welcome to The Balancing Act. We're glad you're here. I'm Julie Moran.
And I'm Olga Villaverdi.
Oh, honey, have we got a show for you today. Literally, as today we learn more about the health benefits of a unique kind of honey. And it's even being used as a wonderful line of skincare. I'm really looking forward to that.
Anything to take care of the wrinkles. And I'll be learning more about a rare and genetic lung disease as we go behind the mystery. It's known as Alpha-1. More on that coming up.
So let's get to it all. The Balancing Act starts right now. When you think of New Zealand, do you think of nature at its wildest, most pristine? Do you think of honeybees and honey? The island nation of New Zealand, famous for its unspoiled natural beauty, is also home to Manuka honey, an all-natural product sourced in remote, pollution-free forest, a honey renowned for its unique flavor and deep, rich color. It's equally known for its various health benefits, including skin care. With us to discuss all the benefits of all-natural Manuka honey for all skin types is Kylie Glover, National Sales Manager for Comvita, a company whose motto is share nature, share life. I love the motto. Welcome.
Thanks, Julie. It's great to be here.
It's so great to have you back. You know, most of us are aware of honey and how good it is for us. I love honey, but Manuka honey's health and skincare benefits are pretty unique, and I want you to tell us about those.
Manuka honey is unique for both inside and out. And even though honey has been used for centuries for health and beauty, not all honey is created equally. Manuka honey is from the Manuka plant, which is a native tea tree to New Zealand. And it's anti-inflammatory, it's antibacterial, and it's full of antioxidants. So breakthrough research has actually now told us that a unique formulation of Manuka honey can actually slow down the signs of aging.
All women, I don't care how old you are, want to hear that. And your company's founder, I've read a lot about him, a remarkable man. Tell us how he impacted the company and the product line.
He was a remarkable man. At 63 years old, Claude Stratford started making and selling bee products. His vision was to create natural products that work and to preserve the environment for generations to come. So he was joined by our co-founder, Alan Balgin, and they were pioneers ahead of their time. Claude actually lived till he was 102 years old, so I think he was onto something.
He was onto something, I'm telling you. Now, Comvita uses a proprietary formula for all skin products that you use. I know it's a secret, but can you share just a smidgen of it with us?
I can tell you a little.
Okay, great.
So evidence suggests that this unique formulation of Manuka honey called Honey XA actually works to inhibit the action of a group of enzymes called MMPs. Now what MMPs do is they can act together to degrade this collagen in the skin.
Not good.
Not good. And so what we have here is a natural product that's going to help protect the collagen.
Excellent. And just tell me about the benefits of the formula.
So the benefits are wide-ranging. The anti-inflammatory activity of the honey really helps with that anti-aging. It's great for rosacea as well.
Wow.
And the antibacterial activity of the honey is also going to help against things like acne.
I know you brought some things for us. Can you share a bit of it with us?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So what we have in front of us here today is from our normal to dry range, our Protective Day Moisturizer. Now what this has in it is sunflower, it also has macadamia, and of course that honey XA to fight those wrinkles.
Right.
Now it's not at all sticky. It's actually very light and it absorbs right into the skin.
Got to try this. Wow, it's not sticky at all. That feels fantastic. Now, I know it's NPA certified. What does that mean?
So NPA stands for the Natural Products Association. And if a product carries that NPA seal, it means every single ingredient in the product has been traced right back through the supply chain. They've certified it as being completely natural, no preservatives, and it's sustainable and safe.
There are products out there with a lot of things in them, right?
There have been studies done on your average product on the skincare shelves today.
Right.
And they have 126 chemicals in them on average.
Wait, you mean I'm putting things on my skin with 126 chemicals in them? That's
Absolutely.
not, I don't want that.
And a woman uses about 9 different skincare products on any given day, and this is getting absorbed straight into your skin. It can add up to about 4 pounds of chemicals being absorbed into your skin in a year.
Talk about skin types. We've got dry, oily, aging, dark, light, young, old. Do you have a line, or can they be used for all skin types?
There are so many different skin types. You're absolutely right, Julie, and we've designed something for everyone. We have 4 ranges, and we have something for normal to dry skin, normal to oily skin. We have a brightening range that contains olive leaf extract, which is a very powerful antioxidant, so it's going to brighten that skin. And we also have a full body range.
Oh my gosh, where do I find your line?
You can find all these products on Comvita.com.
I want to thank you for stopping by, and I think all women are looking for that next step, and I don't want to put all those chemicals on my face. I'm glad you shared that with me today. It was great having you, Kylie.
No problem, it's been great. Thanks, Julie.
Well, if you'd like to learn more about the benefits of Manuka honey for your inside and your outside, visit us at thebalancingact.com or get busy as a bee by buzzing over to Facebook/The Balancing Act Fans.
Timely and accurate medical diagnosis is key to successfully managing a disease and suspected health issues. But a lung disease known as alpha-1 is often misdiagnosed, taking up to 7 years and multiple physicians before an accurate diagnosis can be made. Our next guest is here to talk about alpha-1 and the long journey patients experience before being properly diagnosed, as well as how medical professionals can better diagnose alpha-1. With us today is Dr. Robert Sandhaus, director of the alpha-1 program at the National Jewish Health in Denver, Colorado. Good morning, doctor.
Thank you very much for having me here.
I'm so glad you're here because this is something that I think a lot of people have not heard of. Alpha-1.
Absolutely.
Tell me exactly what it is.
Well, it's a genetic condition. Alpha-1 actually stands for alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency. A little hard to say,
Yeah, it's
but
a big word there, but
nice
alpha-1 is good.
Alpha-1. And it is much more common than people realize. It's about 3 times as common as cystic fibrosis, a genetic condition that everyone's heard of.
And you know, I'm a carrier of cystic fibrosis.
Really?
My husband is not, thank
And
goodness.
the head of the NIH is a carrier for alpha-1.
Look at that.
So there are about 20 million carriers of alpha-1 in the United States alone.
So why is it so often misdiagnosed?
Well, it can be sort of a chameleon disease. It masquerades as other diseases. It can cause liver disease in newborns. It can cause lung disease in adults and eventually liver disease in adults as well. And it's liver disease that looks to all the world like cirrhosis. It's lung disease that looks to all the world like emphysema or chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD.
So would you categorize it as a rare disease, if you will?
Well, it technically is a rare disease because a rare disease is defined as a disease that affects less than 200,000 individuals, and we're probably just below that level.
And typically, does it affect more men or women or both?
It actually affects men and women equally. And so unlike the impression that COPD affects men, in fact, COPD affects men and women equally now. And the problem is that there's nothing specific about how an alpha-1 patient's lung disease looks to a doctor or to their family. The only way to know that someone has alpha-1 is to do a simple blood test.
And a couple more questions. In terms of age, is there an age range? And what are the symptoms that would manifest?
Well, in newborns, it's always liver failure. Fortunately, it's a rare complication of alpha-1 to have liver failure, but it's the second most common reason that kids get liver transplants. And in adults, it shows up as shortness of breath, often with exertion, wheezing, frequent lung infections. There's a group of symptoms, but they look identical to the symptoms of someone with chronic asthma or COPD.
And if someone's diagnosed, I mean, is there hope? Is there something that can be done to help them?
Absolutely. There is. For the lung disease, you can replace the missing alpha-1 protein with intravenous infusions, and that halts the progress of the disease. Unfortunately, emphysema can't be reversed yet.
Correct. Okay, doctor, I want you to stay right there because when we come back, we're going to get up close and personal as we meet an alpha-1 patient. She's got an amazing story. You're going to want to tune in. The Balancing Act. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. Continuing our discussion now of alpha-1, a lung disease affecting 1 out of every 2,500 persons. Here today again, Dr. Robert Sandhaus, director of an alpha-1 program at the National Jewish Health in Denver, Colorado. And joining us now, a woman who's graciously offered to share her very own alpha-1 experience and her path to diagnosis and management of this genetic disease. Her name is Peggy Iverson. Good morning, Peggy.
Good morning, Olga.
Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.
Doctor, thanks for sticking around. Peggy, let me start with you. What's been the most difficult part, let's say, of this journey, alpha-1 journey?
I would say it's the loss of my mom, who
so
was
sorry.
diagnosed with alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency. My children are carriers. I have 2 sons. And then watching others be diagnosed late with alpha-1 and suffering with lung disease, advanced lung disease.
But as a result of your mother's death, and I am very sorry, you obviously then found out a bit earlier, I would think.
I did. I'm really fortunate to have been diagnosed in my 20s because my mom was short of breath, you know, and couldn't figure out what was wrong because she had never smoked. And she was diagnosed correctly and lived for 9 years after her diagnosis because there was no treatment back then. This was in the 70s and 80s. And so because I was diagnosed young, I've been able to make healthy life choices. And we also were able to follow me and know when lung disease began. So I was able to get on augmentation therapy to help keep my lungs stable and protect me.
Doctor, I would think Peggy's very fortunate because you and I were talking a few minutes ago about how it's so misdiagnosed. She's not obviously one of the common diagnoses that we've been talking about.
Right. As you mentioned, most people don't get diagnosed until many years after their symptoms begin. But thanks to family testing, which is one of the things that we're really pushing now, once we identify an alpha-1 patient, we extend that testing to their entire family and pick up a lot of people before they get disease.
And what kind of testing is being done now as opposed to the family testing?
Well,
That's a little bit more accurate.
The testing is simple. It's usually just a finger stick blood test. There are free test kits that that are provided by many companies that allow doctors to do as much testing as they need to do on their patients. In fact, the American Thoracic Society, the European Respiratory Society, the World Health Organization have recommended that every patient with a diagnosis of COPD or chronic asthma as an adult get tested for alpha-1.
And it's really easy to do if you think about it, because if you do have those symptoms as a result of maybe alpha-1, just to get that test could really mean the difference between life or death?
Absolutely, because there's that specific therapy that wouldn't be provided if you didn't have that diagnosis.
Peggy, I want to end with you, and I want to thank you so much for sharing your story with us this morning. Any advice you'd give to someone out there that could be suffering from those symptoms and wondering, you know, what is it that I have, or goes to the doctor, has been to 6 doctors, and is clueless?
Absolutely. Please be diligent and get tested for alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency. It's that simple blood test. Go the extra mile, and please do it.
And really extend your life and lead a productive life as well. Peggy, I want to thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Olga.
Thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you.
Doctor,
Thank you.
thank you for all the information. And if you'd like to find out more about today's important medical information, visit us at thebalancingact.com, and of course, share with us anything related to today's topic on our Facebook at The Balancing Act Fans.
Thanks
Thanks so much for spending part of your morning with us. We hope you learned a thing or two.
And to learn more about today's topics, be sure to check out our website, thebalancingact.com as well. Lots there for you.
And don't forget about Facebook and Twitter. Look us up there. We'll see you again soon. And remember, find your balance.
So long, everybody.